DJ, you know what time it is, my friend?
It's pick time.
I got some special guests with me today, as you guys can see.
Okay.
I have my two brother-in-laws, okay, and they continually, since we went through our little struggle, for the last couple of weeks, got a lot of trash talk coming my way. Very upset that I picked against Clemson. My brother-in-law, Ryan, big Clemson guy. Who is your team, by the way?
Clemson.
You change like every year.
Not even remotely.
Yeah,
I've been
it goes.
Clemson fan since I was like.
Yeah, but you go Virginia. You claim Virginia when they're doing good.
No, I don't.
No?
Even though I went to
Okay.
school there, I don't claim Virginia. I never have.
All right, so they claim, but so what they've done, they decided they're going to pick against us this week. They're going to throw their picks out there. They're going to join in. We're going to see how they do. Okay, because it's family episode. It's Thanksgiving.
Right.
Time to everybody join their family. So we're going to do that as we're on location. So DJ, do you know who has the tee box this week, my friend?
You do, surprisingly.
I do. And very surprisingly, because I had a winning week for the first time in a while. Went 4-2, but you went 4-2 as well. So we had an 8-4 weekend for the podcast.
That's
so,
right. Yeah, we're catching up.
We're catching up. We're starting to get the swing back of things. But I'm going to start this bad boy off with the Florida State Seminoles at home versus the Florida Gators. At the end of the day, Florida, obviously Florida just fired their coach. It's Thanksgiving week. They have no coach. They're thinking about going home. Who's going to be the next head coach? Who's going in the portal? And Florida State, they kind of, he needs this win to kind of secure that he knows that he's got his stuff going. The other big thing here is Dan Mullen calls the plays. And Dan Mullen is an elite play caller.
Right.
Well, now somebody's going to have to call the plays for the first time in 12 games? I mean, really, probably have never called plays in a game. I don't know who's calling the plays. I'm assuming it's the interim coach. I don't know who's calling the plays, but you don't want your first game to be the last game, which is a rivalry game on the road. I'm going Florida State is actually an underdog. I have another money line that I like, so I'm actually taking Florida State +2. DJ, what you got?
I've coached in that game 3 times, and the only thing I would tell you is rivalry games just scare me because they can go either way. You know what I mean? And I'm with you 100% on everything you said there. But the Florida players, even without a coach, are going to want to beat the Florida State Seminoles.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is bragging rights in that state. Those kids all played against each other their whole lives, and those are bragging rights that last 365 days a year because you always run into somebody from the opposing team. So I'm with you on everything you're saying. The only thing that scares me is it's a rivalry game. That's the only thing. And my first game, I've got
because we that's our money line. So we picked Florida State on the money line on that because I think from our take, just Florida, they've kind of fallen apart. As losing to South Carolina the way they did, that's just embarrassing. And South Carolina is not a solid squad either. So we'll take some shots at Carolina while we're at it. So for that reason, I think Florida State had some rough games, but they still got some talent. I agree with Tyler. I think you lose the coach. I agree. It's a rivalry game. So lost a coach, rivalry game, no telling what's going to happen. But I still think -2. I think Florida State's got it.
Well, and Florida State's still actually playing for something. I mean, so you've said it several times. You don't fire the coach in the middle of the season and expect things to improve that day.
This is great. I'll bring them on here. They start taking shots at them. I love it.
Well,
I love it.
What I love about them is their non-biased opinion there.
Yeah, there's
South
no
Carolina.
bias.
No bias at all with South Carolina there.
No bias.
I mean,
No
South
fan
Carolina's 6-5 after only winning 2 games last year. but
and they're really taking the shots because what the fans can't see is my other brother-in-law is sitting over here with his South Carolina gear on. So we have this house divided. So they're taking shots.
I got you.
All right, go ahead. Who you got, DJ?
So Kansas State at Texas, and Kansas State's getting 2. Okay, and I'm going to take Kansas State in 2 points. I think Texas is really falling apart, and Kansas State is playing good football. They lost a close game this weekend to Baylor. Texas obviously lost to West Virginia, and it's been a downhill slide for them. And I think Kansas State's going to win this game, or at least keep it within 2 points.
Yeah, it's not one of my picks because I like this rivalry week. I'm picking games. I'm not going to avoid the good games this week. But that game right there, I will be betting on that game because Texas, they're on a downward slide.
Right.
Okay, and you talking about somebody looking for Thanksgiving and ready to go home, and the portals and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, what have they lost? 6 in a row? Is that right? 5 in a row?
Yes.
6 in a row?
Mm-hmm. First time since 1956 they've lost 6 games in a row.
Yeah, so I love that game, and I had it down. I got some other ones I want to have fun with, so that's where I'm gonna go there. All right, I guess y'all don't have that game before we move on. All right, so we're safe. All right, so my next pick, DJ, is the Texas A&M Aggies are going in to Baton Rouge, and they are only giving up 6.5 points. Now, a little scary game here, just to be honest. Scary game because those kids are going to play hard for Ed Orgeron, his last game as a head coach, and they're going to play there, but that's only going to last so long.
Right.
I think my man Rich Rod has exposed them this week when he was at Monroe. He did some schematic things that were really good against LSU's defense. Week before, I think Jimbo's going to come in there and make a point. He's either going to do one of 2 things. He's either coming in there to make a point of why he needs to be the next LSU head coach, or he's going to make a point why he's staying where he's at. So
right.
I'm going Texas A&M big here. They only got to beat them by 7. They're at 6.5 right now. Texas A&M minus 6.5.
We have the same one.
Same one, same pick.
Yeah. Texas
we're agreeing.
Yeah. I think Texas A&M is just going to be able to go in there. They're developing something really strong. They've really shown some good performances this season, and I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown, if not a little more.
You got anything to add on that?
No, I just said LSU's had a rough season. I mean, their best win of the season so far is beating Florida. A bad Florida team by 7 points, and so
who was beat by Carolina?
Yeah, who was beat by Carolina. So at the transitive property, I expect Texas A&M to win this one pretty handily.
Shots fired. See, my other brother-in-law is just over there on his cell phone, just trying to mind his own business and not get pissed off. So, all right, go ahead, DJ. Who you got next?
Next up for me is Colorado at Utah, and Utah's 24-point favorites, and I think they're going to beat them by more than 24. Colorado struggled, only had 160 yards of offense last week against Washington, and still won the game. But Utah's defense is the real deal. I think that Utah's playing really good football, an underrated team right now, and I anticipate Utah to beat them by more than 24 points.
I can't believe you turned on your Buffaloes after they covered for you last week. I mean,
I love my Buffaloes. Let me just tell you.
You just back the bus back up over the Buffaloes.
Well, I just call it like I see it. But let me tell you something. I love the Buffaloes. I do. I love my friends there at Colorado. I love the players there at Colorado. This is more about Utah than it is Colorado.
Oh, I know. I'm fisting to have some death threats on me here in just a few minutes anyway, so we're going to be good. All right, so my next game is the Auburn Alabama game. I've been waiting on this game for many weeks. I know you and I talked about it. But I was waiting on this game when Bo Nix was the quarterback. They have hit a skid. I mean, they had a 28-3 lead against Mississippi State, and give up 40 unanswered. And they had a 14-0 lead the other night with the game in complete control, with no even resemblance of South Carolina having a chance, and they lose the game. They got Alabama at home. Alabama is minus 19.5. I think Alabama slips in the college football rankings this week, just like they slipped in the AP poll. I think that pisses everybody off that's wearing a Crimson Tide uniform. I have Alabama huge. They're minus 19.5. That's not even close to enough. Alabama minus 19.5 against the Auburn Tigers in the Iron Bowl. Is what it is. What you got, DJ? Anything on that game?
I'm with you on that one. If I were going to bet on that game, I would bet the same thing. all I could say is you betting all these rivalry games just makes me nervous because those games are always the ones that seem to go the other way.
What's it gonna do? Is it gonna mess my record up? No, man.
Hey,
I gotta go Hail Marys. Yeah, I'm going Hail Marys this week. I'm in 2-minute mode. I gotta catch you, and we don't have many weeks left, so I'm betting games I knew you wouldn't bet, so I can see if I can catch you. So this is gamemanship.
If I were to bet, I would bet with you in Alabama. Okay. But just rivalry games in general, all the statistics and the scores, you kind of throw them out the window. And guys seem to get a little more fired up for them.
All right, y'all don't have that game, do you? No. All right, so DJ, who you got for your next pick, boss?
My next pick is Washington State at Washington, and this is a rivalry game. You may not realize that. In the part of the country you're in right now.
The Apple Cup, right?
It's the Apple Cup.
Come on, man.
Hey, how about this? How about this for a statistic? Jimmy Lake, head coach at Washington, never coached an Apple Cup game.
Coached there 2 seasons, never coached the Apple Cup game. That is correct.
Never coached an Apple Cup, yes. Yeah. But anyway, Washington State's only getting 1.5 points here. And Washington State's playing good football. Washington is not. Washington doesn't have a head football coach. I'm taking Washington State in 1.5 points.
Yeah, both going through coaching searches. But I will tell you this. I really I'm with you on this. I would have taken the same thing. I really like the way Washington State has been playing since Rolovich is gone. They haven't really skipped a beat. The coaches that are left there, I don't know how many they have left. I mean, it's like, what, 6? But they've been playing really well since all that happened.
He was able to hire coaches from outside. So he hired 3 coaches that were not on the staff. Jake Dicker did, and veteran coaches that know what they're doing, and the team has really rallied behind him. He's won 2, and this would be his 3rd win since he's taken over. They're already bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Well, they're already bowl eligible. They've already got 6, and this would give them 7. And don't be surprised if Jake Dicker doesn't get that job. Too, yeah, I've heard that he's right up there at the top to get that job with the way that he's able to rally the troops.
Yeah, I was actually told with him that because they were talking about Washington and they started mentioning Washington State is that because of the lack of supply, he does a good enough job, he's gonna have a crack at it. So and the players love him. So that'd be awesome for him. So been through all that. So.
Right.
All right, we got y'all's next pick. Who's got next?
So next one we have is UNC, NC State. So picking UNC.
There we go.
This is obviously if Sam Howell is coming back, but I think if UNC's been throwing up a lot of points, they're unpredictably a fun game to watch. NC State is a solid team this year, but I think UNC can score some points with them, and I think 6.5 is probably a few too many points for that one. I think it'll be a little bit closer.
We're gonna ask the peanut gallery. Do you like UNC this week? All right, peanut gallery. We have some connections to UNC, so he likes UNC minus 6. Was it 6.5?
Yeah. 6.5. Yeah.
Oh, plus
UNC,
6.5.
UNC getting 6.5.
Yeah. Getting 6.5. He likes that. Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So DJ, my next pick is Penn State, Michigan State. It is a pick'em. Okay. It's dead even. I'm going Penn State. Just straight up to win. It's pick'em. And look, Michigan State, man, geez, they got. I don't care. That is coming off an emotional game that they got their teeth kicked in. I think word's going to start getting around that James Franklin is probably going up staying at Penn State. I think he can use that. I like Penn State to win this game. I think they're good enough up front to contain the run. And the one thing they can do a little bit is they got some weapons on the outside against Michigan State's pass defense, and I think they score enough to win. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I think Penn State wins that game at some point in time, some way, somehow. So y'all got that game or no? Mm-hmm. All right. Who you got your next pick there, DJ?
Next pick for me is Hawaii at Wyoming. Now,
we talked about this.
Yes.
I forgot.
Being a former player at Wyoming, we always hammered Hawaii when they came to play us at home. I mean, they have to fly halfway across the country, and this game is in November. It's not only altitude; it's going to be weather. Um, they're going to have a hard time getting those players out of the locker room. I've seen it with my own eyes,
And so, elevation too, right?
That's my point. Not only altitude, it's weather, man. It's both. I mean, it's these guys aren't going to be able to breathe. They're going to be freezing. They're going to have jet lag. And this game, and Wyoming's playing good football right now. I mean, they just hammered Utah State, who's a good team, and they're getting 10. I think Wyoming's going to beat them by more than 10 points.
Man, I'm glad you told me that. I forgot that game was this week. I can't believe we talked about that on an earlier episode.
Yep.
And
I told you to watch out for that one when the season started.
I'm going to store that one away. Is that your lock for the week?
That's my lock. Yep, that's my lock for the week.
I figured as much. That was your lock. Okay.
Yep.
By the way, my lock is going to be Alabama and Auburn. All right.
Okay.
All right, who you guys got the next pick?
Oregon, coming off their loss, is -7 against Oregon State, and I think they're gonna be ready to play. They're gonna be pissed off from last week, and they're gonna open it up against Oregon State.
I can tell that you did not. I can tell that you didn't agree with that one. Okay. I like it. Standing up for the Ducks.
I think they're going. They screwed up last week, and they're going to try to come back and show something to the committee. Maybe they can squeeze something out.
DJ is a Pac-12 expert. DJ, how you feel about that pick?
I think that's solid. Oregon State is a much better team than they've been in the past, and so it's going to be a closer game than it usually is. But I think Oregon's going to win this thing.
And it's in Eugene too, so
yeah.
I know Oregon State's undefeated at home, but it is in Eugene. And I mean, Oregon, do they have to? There's no risk of them if they lose this game not going to the championship game, is there?
No,
I think they're in. So
they only have one loss in the league.
Okay, all right. I like it. Standing up for my guy Mario.
Yep.
So I like it. All right, DJ, who you got?
Kentucky, Louisville. This is my money line. Okay, Louisville's favored by 2.5. Kentucky, in my opinion, is a much better team than Louisville, and I think that they're going to roll into Louisville and they're going to win this game straight up.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go with my money line pick because see, I've got strategy going into why I'm going in my order of my picks, because I think when I get to my last pick, we're going to have subscribers cancel. So I'm going to go with my money line. My money line is the Iowa Hawkeyes. This one blew my mind. You talking about trap games, DJ?
Yeah.
This is a trap game. Okay.
Yes.
Iowa sitting at 9-2 are underdogs against a 3-8 Nebraska team.
I saw that.
So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fall right into the old trap. Okay, here we go. I'm taking Iowa money line. I mean, you're a 9-2 team. You're fighting to get a 10-win season. You're playing against a 3-8 team that has no offensive coaches left. So somebody knows something, obviously. Somebody lost an arm or a leg or something on the way back. I don't know. I got Iowa money line against the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
It's funny that you're going with that game because I thought that was the most obvious pick of the week. But like you, because it was so obvious, I said it's got to be a trap.
But you know what? You know what made me feel better about it is last week you went into the trap with Baylor and Kansas State and came out victorious.
That's true.
So that made me feel better about the trap. So maybe the trap is semi-elusive this year. So, and then we both went into the trap with Oklahoma State and Iowa State and came out victorious. So the trap is not so trappy sometimes. So, all right, guys, who's your next pick?
So got BYU, Southern Cal.
Okay.
BYU is given 7. So picking BYU in that one. USC has gotten hammered by good teams this year and just gotten absolutely destroyed by the ranked teams that they've played or the better teams that they've played.
So you like Southern Cal, huh?
Yeah, no. we got BYU going into this one. They seem to be pretty solid. So that's the next one for us.
All right. You got one more pick, DJ?
Boise State at San Diego State. Okay. San Diego State's getting 2.5, and I'm taking San Diego State.
Taking San Diego State. Y'all got anything about that one? Y'all got that one?
I had looked at that one.
Oh, is that your?
And then we dropped it.
Okay.
As we tried to combine forces there.
They were trying to come to the dark side. All right, DJ, my last pick. Okay.
Well, since yours is going to be such a whopper, do you want us to do our last pick first before you get?
Yeah,
yours,
let's do that.
Yeah,
because we're going. Everybody's going to turn the camera off.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's only one team this year that held the UGA offense to less than 30, and no touch, and held the offense to no touchdowns. They lost on a pick six.
Okay.
Right. I mean, they have some good losses. UGA, NC State, Pitt's doing well this year. Same record, Texas A&M. Same record as Wisconsin. Same record as Utah, and they're not ranked. Maybe
we
later
talked
today.
about disrespect.
Maybe later today. We got a chance to watch the Tigers play, and I think they're going to bring it against Carolina this week. And I think they're going to beat the spread of 11.5. So.
I'm a big Clemson fan, always have been, and I've watched them play every game this year. And I've watched Carolina play. I think 11.5 points is a lot of points for that Clemson offense because they'll hold people down to 20 points, but scoring more than that is a struggle. So we kind of disagree. That's a game we both would pick. I would probably pick Carolina.
Really? You would pick in a rivalry game, you would pick Carolina?
At Carolina with 11.5 points, that's a lot of points for a Clemson team that they've been struggling offensively. They've done well, but the only reason the teams that they've played really well against, they've been able to dominate the line. Like Wake Forest, they were able to dominate both sides of the line, but against teams that have bigger lines and have like more senior line play, they've struggled, particularly offensively, because the quarterback is possibly the slowest quarterback in Clemson's had since probably the 60s. And so it's if they can get the line play, they're fine. But I think Carolina coming in with an SEC line is going to be a little bit much. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. I still think they'll win, but I think it's going to be a little closer.
But DJ's decision making this week against Wake was much better. And number 20, Pace, really stepped it up. Had a fantastic game, almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're bringing in some new offensive weapons, and I really think they're hitting their stride. They deserve to be ranked much higher than not in some of these other teams, and so I definitely think they're going to win by more than 11.5.
Even up, I think we've had three pick six this year, so I'm not things kind of bounce the wrong way. So
don't you love the fans' perspective when they're just taking shots? This guy's slow. Nobody's ran that fast since the '60s. You gotta love it. So.
Well, I just don't know if we have enough feedback on that game. We need to get some more stats and information.
No, I think we're good.
For that game.
We're good.
I don't know if we have enough information on that game.
Yeah, I think we're good on that one. So you've done your last pick?
I've done my last pick.
Is it time for everybody to cancel the subscription to the podcast?
I think it's been past that time. But go ahead.
All right. Here we go. The Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl is coming up Thursday night. So the line is Mississippi State -1.
Mm-hmm.
And Mississippi State's been playing really well as of late. The interesting part of this game is the defense is a unique defense that Mississippi State runs. You and I actually talked about it in our earlier episode, kind of the Rocky Long flavor defense that Ole Miss has not seen. Offensively, they haven't seen it either. I think it's going to be really the first team that Ole Miss has played this year that's really going to try to challenge them through the air. I know Alabama got after them a little bit, but that's a different kind of offense. It's in Starkville, which is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm taking the Mississippi State Bulldogs -1 against the Ole Miss Rebels. I think this is going to be, DJ, I think it's going to be a very close game. Either way, I don't think anybody blows anybody out. I know there's a lot of people saying, well, Ole Miss could blow them out. I just don't. Ole Miss they've kind of hit a lull a little bit. They've been coming out of the gates really well and haven't been playing well in the second half. And then most importantly, the red zone is going to be critical in this game. And the knock on Mississippi State has been through the years in this offense, and you've gone against it I don't know how many times, is can they get it done in the red zone, right? That's how everybody has stopped Leach is, you're going to get what you're going to get between the 20s. What can you get done in the red zone? And that's also been a little bit of Ole Miss's problem in the last couple of weeks is moving the ball great between the 20s but really struggling in the red zone. And then So I think at the end of the day, I think Mississippi State. Only reason I'm picking Mississippi State is because it is at home, and it's going to be a very rowdy environment. If this was at Ole Miss, I would have picked Ole Miss for the other reason. But the truth is, whoever can execute in the red zone the best and get 7 points instead of 3 is going to win this game. And I just think it's going to be probably a 3. It's going to be a 1-score game, I think, either way. But I think it's going to come down to red zone execution. So what do you talk a little bit about, because I know we got obviously a lot of Ole Miss fans listening, talk a little bit about going against Leach and defensively about what you had to do.
Well, the way that most teams attack Leach's offense is a form of an 8-man drop, and that's the base defense for Ole Miss now. Ole Miss is a 3-3 team that is base defense is an 8-man drop with a 3-man rush, and whether they get into a 2 Tampa look or all the different coverages that they can get into in that look. So there's 2 ways to look at this. Is Leach has been defending 8-man drop for over 2 years now. Everybody in the SEC attacked him in an 8-man drop except LSU in game 1, which they torched LSU. And then pretty much everybody this year has attacked him in an 8-man drop. So he's developed a way to how to attack it, and he knows the holes in it, and they have the system that can attack it in the passing game, like you talked about. The other side of that might be that this is Ole Miss's base defense. They're not running a defense that's a scheme of the week to try to defeat the air raid, and that they may know how to defend it the best. So it's going to be interesting to see how Leach's offense is able to move the ball against Ole Miss's defense. It's a system that are pretty much, one's built to stop the air raid, but the air raid is used to seeing it. It's almost like an option team. Option teams get so used to seeing odd defense that they know how to attack an odd defense. And so this is going to be a very interesting game, and from a schematic standpoint. Another thing is that it's going to come down to 4th down conversions. Both of these offenses are teams that go for it on 4th down quite regularly. And so that conversion is going to be critical. And like I mentioned before in the podcast, a 4th down conversion or a stop is much different than a 3rd down. Sometimes fans look at those as the same, but if you stop a 4th down conversion, it's equivalent to a turnover. And so I think that's another critical element of this game.
Yep, I agree. The hard part is going to that. This is and I've been a part of a bunch of them. Auburn, Alabama. I've been a fan. I was a fan first, and then I've been on both sides. One as a coach and one as a player at Auburn, Alabama. This is a different deal, man. People legitly don't like each other on these sides. This is different than any other rivalry. In our family, we got South Carolina fans and Clemson fans. Oh yeah, we want to beat you, but hey, let's go have a beer and eat dinner. Auburn, Alabama, we hate you, but when things happen, there's something happens, like when the tornadoes come, everybody comes together. These people genuinely hate everybody. Ole Miss hates Mississippi State people, and Mississippi State people genuinely hate Ole Miss people. They ruin lives. Okay, I'm talking about ruining lives over this. They hate each other, and so I'm talking about taking this thing personal to the point to where this game will get a coach hired and fired more than any game that ever exists. Okay, and everybody says the Auburn Alabama game used to be like that. Look, I've been in that one. I've been in as a player and as a coach. It has nothing to do with the hate that goes on the side of this. This is the craziest rivalry I've ever seen or been a part of. Yeah, people are going, it's not going to be pretty. One way or another. People rubbing it in their face they genuinely hate people. So it'll be fun to see. I'm excited to watch it. So you got anything else to add, man? It was a fun episode, man. We got the family in here today.
Oh,
we got the wife in here.
It was awesome.
Are you shocked with the wives getting everything right?
I am. And
I am too.
I think that just goes to show you that they're usually right and we're usually wrong, unfortunately. And
well, I'm going to hear about that now. She'll talk. She's going to talk. She's going to use her knowledge. She will talk trash for a good 6 to 7 years off of that.
We're going to have her do the next episode is going to be Aaron's going to come in and ask nursing questions.
Gymnastics questions.
Gymnastics questions
in the offseason.
No, because it's called Tyler Siskey, and so she's not Aaron Siskey.
Who was the first female gymnast to get a perfect 10?
Nadia Comaneci.
Oh, there you go.
Woo! 1 for 1, right. DJ. Next question.
Yes, but who's your kid's kindergarten teacher?
Well, in defense, she was his teacher last year. I'm just a year behind.
Hey, you're right. She didn't specify.
She didn't say what year. She said who's your kid's teacher.
You're right.
She said kindergarten. I do like the idea, though, of expanding the podcast to be football during the season and then maybe gymnastics in the off season. I think it's kind of nice dual branding. Yeah. I could probably work on it.
I you know what? I think we'll get a lot of listeners for that gymnastics section, you know?
Yeah, so, and then you know, I was like terrible host here. I didn't even really introduce you. So my brother-in-law, Ryan, so he's a doctor. Okay, so he's got so anytime we need any COVID perspective, we got us a guest that we can bring on. And then JR, what do we go with? What do we He's a consultant. He's been in politics. So what did you do at the Department of Defense? What was your official title?
Pentagon spokesman.
So he's the one that did all the press briefings for when you see on TV for the Pentagon. That was him.
Okay.
And then you've been in the White House with Bush. And then basically Republicans. See, they're like coaches. So when they come in and out based on who gets in office, so it's like coaches. So he has a familiarity with that.
So what you're telling me is they really think that you're a smart guy when you hang out with them.
Oh no,
they think your intelligence.
Question.
Is through the roof.
You know, my other brother-in-law he didn't want to come on, so he's actually left the room. He's a big NIL guy and marketing agent he's got a bunch of most of the top players. He's actually got the two most marketable NFL players, and so he didn't want to come in because he didn't want us to ask him about. He's got Sam Howell. Don't tell anybody. He's got Sam Howell. All right, so he had Sam Howell, so he didn't want to answer the North Carolina question, so he left. And so then my father-in-law is a doctor, so you know it's very as I was coming into the family, it was very interesting. I was wanting to talk about zone blitzes and inside and outside zone, and they were talking about saving lives and all kinds of fun stuff. He can't tell me all the fun stuff that he knows, so that's where it gets really.
And we grew up in the haunted house.
Oh, they did grow up in a haunted house, so it was fun. So. Fun times. So that's where all our ghost questions come from. So,
gotcha.
We'll be good to go. Do ghosts exist?
The ghosts exist.
Do ghosts exist? You're a cynic.
Does DJ believe in ghosts?
DJ, you don't believe in ghosts, right?
No. Remember, the only paranormal experience I've had is every time I play Alabama. Remember the answer to that question?
That's right. That's correct. That's correct.
Now, don't forget that Jonathan has the secret briefings on aliens.
Well, so I have been told. So I've tried to get Jonathan here on this podcast like 4 times to talk about aliens. Okay, because he did work at the Pentagon and had all the clearance, and so he knows the truth, but he will not tell anybody the truth because he knows that he will not be here to do the podcast next time probably if he tells the truth. So
it's like you can't tell all your dirty secrets about recruiting.
Well, I don't have it.
Or you lose your clearances.
I don't have any dirty secrets about recruiting.
They're gray secrets.
They're gray areas.
I apologize.
Yeah, there's no secrets about recruiting. There's a reason that my name never went across the bottom of the ticket.
Oh, I do remember one time.
No. All right.
I do remember.
That's where we're going to end it right there. That's where we're going to end the podcast right there. DJ, I wish you and your family and everyone listening, I wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know they'll be listening to this Wednesday, Thursday in their time, but I wish everybody a lot of family time. I know you do too as well, DJ.
Yes,
and it's one of my favorite weeks, even though I've never got to participate very much until after the game, but always one of my favorite weeks of the year. And thank you make sure you subscribe, leave us a 3-star review, unsubscribe if you don't like my pick on the Egg Bowl. But besides that, my wife hates it. She's here to tell me she hates my 3-star review. DJ, you got anything else to add, my friend?
Hey, you know what? I'm jealous of you guys together right now. I'm getting ready to head down to Oklahoma and spend time with my family. And just like you, I've never done that before, so I'm looking forward to it.
Huh?
It's different, yeah. And I will be live and in person at the Oklahoma State game this weekend.
Okay. Do you want to tell anybody what sideline you're going to be? Who you pulling for?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I got friends on both sides. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
See.
So,
you're playing the political game too. They would just go straight ahead and start
But now
bashing
you can
people.
tweet it.
Oh yeah, now you can tweet it, so you'll be good to go.
Yep.
All right, DJ. Until next time, my friend. Take care.
All right, brother. We'll see you.